2014, and I'm standing in 4 inches of snow in the hills outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, with 24 other people. We're lined up on either side of a 30-foot-long bed of red-hot coals, and we are chanting together, do it with me, "My body will walk on fire. My body will walk on fire."
So when we think about storytelling, there's a lot of different ways that we can do it, right? There's writing, and there's filmmaking, there's photography, but one of the most key ways that we want to tell stories is in person.
Great, I said. She said I look great. We looked great. Let's grab a drink, I said. She said, sure. We went and grabbed a drink. We ordered them. We sat there not saying anything to each other because we didn't need to. There was electricity between us.
Right? And a lot of times, the greatest writers and the greatest filmmakers are terrible in the room. They go into the room and they try too hard and they're selling, and immediately they can see across the table, and I've had this happen myself, that people tune out.
Anybody walking by could look at us and say, those people are going to be together forever. And just when I was about to share the spot with her, she looked down, looked up, and said, so I'm seeing someone. How dare she?
The reason, usually, is that they're not being authentic, right? They're not bringing their full self into the room. One of the ways that we can boost the authenticity of ourselves when we're talking one-on-one is simply by telling a story.
Here isn't that we craft the perfect story for ourselves or for our organization. It's that we become conscious that we are constantly telling stories, and that story is fluid depending on who we're talking to and what we want them to pay attention to. Everything would change the moment that I won, because I was on the inside now, the seat of power, where influence lived and very tasty snacks, but no amount of gourmet pretzels could change what I felt inside. I still felt like I didn't belong. Community revolved around story and the relationships that they had with each other. So on any given day, if I had a story relationship with you, my dwelling might be facing yours. But then the next day, maybe I have a stronger story relationship with you, I would get my hut and I would move it to face yours. So you could actually see a social network constantly evolving. We spent 2 days crammed together in a small room. The leader would beat his drum and tell an ancient story, and then he'd stop and wait. And eventually someone would stand and start sharing whatever that story had jogged in him. And then someone else would stand, and someone else, another, and another, and another. What storytelling looked like was a bunch of people standing in a circle, essentially yelling at each other, and fighting over the details of the world that they were co-creating in real time. So, for example, through this process, that camera, hello, wouldn't just be a camera, it would be the camera where the spirit of the presentation lived. And they would arrive at that through this negotiated, co-created story. And then suddenly their world would be much richer because the world around them was literally alive with stories.